What's up, horror fans? Ugh. Charlotte's back. We are here from the Lassercast. I'm Danny
And I'm Charlotte.
And Charlotte, where did you just come back from?
Sleepaway camp.
So you just came back from Sleepaway camp. So as a horror dad,
What better movie to watch?
I was contractually obligated to show her the original 1983
Sleepaway
camp, directed by Robert Hiltzik. We watched it yesterday. It's streaming free on Peacock, if you have that. It's streaming free on a whole bunch of streaming services. Before we get into our talk about your sleepaway camp experience, the film Sleepaway Camp, and comparing them, let me just tell you what we have coming up on the Lassercast channel. The other day, Pete and I had a 1 hour long interview with prolific writer Michael Moresi. He is the co-writer of the horror movie Revealer, which is streaming now on Shudder. Really cool little movie. You should check that out on Shudder. He's also a prolific novelist and comic book writer. He has Roche Limit, Barbaric, Black Star Renegades. These are just a few of his titles that are out there. We talked to him mostly about Revealer, but also about a lot of his other work and his process and writing. Really cool interview. That's going to be up probably midway through the week, so you can look forward to that. And if you like interviews, Pete interviewed Brett Nelson, another horror author who did a novelization of the Astron 6 crazy science fiction movie, Manborg. That was a really cool interview as well. And Pete and I recorded a mid-year review, July 1st, the mid-year point, and we talked about the best horror movie so far, the worst horror movie so far, and the good ones.
That
the ones
came out this year?
Yes.
So far? Oh.
Yes. So you...
Did it post yet?
No, that's going to be posting in a day or so. One of the movies that was very high on my list is a movie we saw together, and that's The Black Phone. That was, really good. Yeah, that's in my, spoiler. But also, if you want to see Pete and I talk, or if you want to listen to Pete and I talk for about 45 minutes about The Black Phone and our contrasting opinions on that, we have a podcast episode up as well. So yes, that's what we have coming up. Give us likes, give us a subscribe if you haven't. And Charlotte, let's talk about Sleepaway Camp. So before we get into the crazy movie that we watched yesterday, how was Sleepaway Camp? Well, what were the good things that you liked about your experience going to Sleepaway Camp?
My experience is that I got to actually feel how people feel when they go to Sleepaway Camp. Like, I just kind of thought we would be in, like, a house or, like, this big, giant wooden house.
A cabin.
In the woods. And we would just be sleeping and doing things in there, because when I went to my day camp back in May, we were in this, like, big cabin house thing, and it had, like, bunks inside it.
So what kind of activities, though, did you do when you were there?
We went swimming in a pool.
Okay.
We went boating on Thursday.
Okay.
My boat spun in circles. Because nobody knew how to row except me.
All right.
I did arts and crafts, and I drew a picture of Kawada.
That's the crazy cat that you sometimes see jumping up on the bookshelf. You also said you did archery?
Yes, though, unlike last time, I did not get any arrows.
Okay, that's all right. You'll figure that out. And you also did some sports, right?
Yeah, I did a lot of hula hooping.
And what other sports did they have available for the other kids to play?
Volleyball.
Badminton, which she's been calling Batman since she got back.
Shut up.
Was there like baseball, football, stuff like that?
There was just like a few balls, like soccer ball, maybe a football.
Okay. Most importantly, though, there was something very crucial missing from this sleepaway camp that you went to, and it's kind of why Mommy and I liked it a lot. It was a Girl Scout camp, which meant there were no boys, which is a good way to get into the movie Sleepaway Camp, because a lot of the issues that come up in the 1983 Sleepaway Camp are the issues between the boys and the girls. Even though the boys keep fighting each other.
The boys and the gals.
And the girls also, there's a lot of bullying, right? Yeah. Like there were characters in the movie like Meg and Judy who were really bitchy and bullies.
I like that girl who was helping Angela.
Yeah, there was one of there was Meg, who was the real mean, nasty one, who's like, go in the water, Angela. And then there was the other woman who was trying to be nice to her. Yeah.
Yeah, she's like, leave
well, she actually,
and Judy.
By the way, we are going to give spoilers for a movie that came out 39 years ago. Okay? Like I said, if you want to watch Sleepaway Camp, if you've never seen it, you owe it to yourself to watch it.
You were 1 year old.
Yes, I was 1. You owe it to yourself to watch this movie before it gets spoiled. It is streaming free on a bunch of platforms, including Peacock, Tubi, Roku channel.
It's your fault.
So yeah, we're gonna talk a lot about spoilers, but yeah, there are a lot of bullies at this camp. Even some of the counselors are real kind of bullies to these kids.
Yeah.
Did you have any issues with any of the girls at your camp that were mean and nasty? Or?
No, but this one girl, she didn't follow the cabin agreements, which number one was don't knock or ask to come into the cabin, and she knocked saying, hey, can I come in? And we all said, well, we didn't even say anything. We were just hanging out in there. I don't think we heard her. And then she just came in automatically. And then she started pillow fighting people, really badly. And then we pushed her out. But then she came through the back door and started hitting more people.
Did any of the cooks or people who work in the kitchen get giant tubs of boiling water dropped on them and need to be removed? Oh, because that happens in the movie. Very quickly, well, before we even get to the sleepaway camp aspect of the movie opens with this kind of weird scene, right, where the dad is swimming on a little raft with his 2 kids, on a boat with the 2 kids. The boat gets turned over, and then another boat is just going along, doesn't notice them, and kills the dad and one of the kids. We see one of the kids is dead, and the other one survives. And we fast forward a bunch of years, and the weird aunt, right? The weird aunt sends her...
Sweetie.
That would not be good at all.
Oh, I forgot something.
That would be terrible. She sends her son Ricky and her niece Angela away to Camp Arawak. And that's the sleepaway camp. And very quickly, things start to go wrong. Angela is very quiet. Obviously, Angela is played by horror legend Felissa Rose.
This is all you see from the camera.
Yeah, the camera likes to focus in here, the camera likes to focus in on Angela and be right near her, so that her big brown eyes are just front and center on the screen. Felissa Rose was 13 years old when she did this movie, so she's so good in the movie. And I've had a chance writing for Geeks of Doom. I've had a chance to interview her over the phone. I met her in person at a New Jersey HorrorCon. She is at the top of my list. She's in the top 3 or 4. If you ever go to a horror convention and you get to meet some of these, famous stars from horror movies, meet Felissa Rose. She is super cool. What a pleasure it was to meet her. And, if we go to another one and she's there, we'll definitely get a picture of you with her doing her face. Oh, you know what you should get? You should get that picture.
Talk.
Yeah. So Angela is very quiet. She doesn't talk. She doesn't swim. The rest of the girls are being real bitchy to her. Her cousin, Ricky, is a really cool guy. He's constantly mouthing off and cursing out anybody who's bullying her. One of my favorite lines in the whole movie is when they're playing baseball and somebody says, "Eat shit and die, Ricky." And he goes, "Eat shit and live, Bill." So years ago, speaking of horror conventions, I bought this framed piece of art from Frank's Kid. Frank's Kid is an incredible artist, and they sell all sorts of horror comic and horror cartoon collages. I have a Dream Warriors shirt where it's made to look like a Scooby-Doo. The Dream Warriors are made to look like Scooby-Doo characters, and Freddy is like the big monster ghost. I have that on a shirt. I have that on another little painting like this. So I got this Charlie Brown Sleepaway Camp years ago at a horror convention. It hangs on our wall, and Charlotte never knew what this was in reference to until, obviously, we just watched the movie, and she had this great look on her face at the end when we finally see the ending. She goes, "Oh, okay." So yeah, if you go to Frank's Kid, Google them. It'll take you to a website, and you could probably pick up some really cool artwork and stuff. They're really awesome. Who was your favorite character in this movie?
I don't even know. They're all really great, but they're all really terrible.
Well, my two favorites, I already said Ricky, the cousin, but also...
Bull. Oh.
Bull?
I said Paul.
Oh, Paul.
In the New York accent.
Oh, no, that's Ronnie.
Ronnie.
Ronnie the counselor is one of my favorite characters. This is a well, I'm just going to
do it.
I won't do it, but this is 1983, folks. Ronnie the counselor has the shortest shorts you'll ever see on a counselor, to the point where I kept rolling my shorts up and telling Charlotte, like, I'm going to start wearing my shorts like this, and she gets very embarrassed. And he also has like a mullet. Some of the guys are dressed in like the halter, like they have like the half t-shirts that were really like ridiculously popular for some reason in the early 80s. And then you had the other thing with Ronnie is he's got the mullet, he's got the short shorts. He's like this
freaky.
He's really diesel too. So like the fact that he's got like these massive legs in these tiny shorts, and he has the thickest New York accent in the world, where every time there's a problem, he's like, "Oh, Angela, let me take you in the kitchen. I'll find you something to eat. Hey, Ricky, where's Paul? You know, hey, look at my short shorts." I told her I would dress as him for Halloween, and she told me no. But very quickly, once they get to the camp, bad things start to happen. The cook, who's a real nasty character anyway, gets a pot of boiling water poured over him. He doesn't die, but he gets like bandaged up and taken away. The guy who runs the camp, Mel, is this weird old guy who's trying to sleep with some of the adult, female counselors, and he's trying to cover up these injuries and eventual deaths, because all he cares about is the money he's making from the camp. A kid dies. You mentioned going boating. The kid dies, gets drowned, and is found under the boat. So what you can't see Charlotte is doing right now. What are you doing right now?
Itching.
Why are you itching so much?
Because I have a million mosquito bites.
Yeah, so the biggest problem with her sleepaway camp was the bugs. What was a death we saw in this movie? Look at her face. Oh, yeah, you can see she has some big mosquito bites on her face. She's still cute, though. We'll keep her. Ow, I said we'll... Okay, you know what? No, we're giving you back. What happens with bugs in this movie? Or you know what I mean.
The killer takes a beehive on a stick, and shoves it through the window of the top of the bathroom stall. Yeah. To this kid who's apparently allergic to bees.
Yeah, and the makeup.
Even if you're not allergic to bee stings, can you die from?
I mean, I guess if you get swarmed by bees the way that kid did, and you saw like the makeup they use in that scene is real nasty. Like his skin looks like it's like, exploding.
I feel like that won't really
No,
it won't
it
really
was-
look like that.
It was totally exaggerated, but it's a cool death scene.
It is.
And basically the movie acts, it's very obviously, the movie came out 3 years after Friday the 13th. It's very, it follows the formula, we'll say, of the original and even Friday the 13th
So
Part
it's
2.
a little different.
Well, yeah, but that's what I like about Sleepaway Camp. First of all, it has an incredible sense of humor. The cast, I think because they were so young and didn't have experience acting, that they were actually more realistic and more fun. But also, there's a big twist that we'll get to in a second.
Yeah.
You see kids are getting killed all over the place. All the people that are bullying Angela and Paul, who's like the one boy who shows interest in her. And then there's Ricky, the cousin. Mel thinks Ricky is the killer because he has a really short temper and loves to scream and curse at everybody. What was your favorite kill, by the way? Because I thought Meg getting killed in the shower was pretty cool.
Well, Meg, you didn't really see much until her body gets shown.
Yeah. What about Judy with the curling iron? That was
Though
nasty.
we didn't see that.
I know, because they could not have shown what happened. You don't even really know what happened to her.
I think maybe the beehive.
The beehive, I think also the beehive with those makeup effects, it looks really
Okay.
nasty. Yeah, go ahead.
Paul.
Okay, so let's get to the ending. It's Sleepaway Camp, so we have to talk about the ending. We've already mentioned, spoilers ahead. You've been warned. In one of the biggest twists I don't think I'm being hyperbolic when I say, in one of the biggest twists in horror movie history, it turns out that Angela is the killer. Now, that's not exactly the twist, right?
It was kind of obvious from the time they killed, like, maybe the second or third person. I was like, it's Angela.
You thought it was Angela when you see the person with the hair pop up in the boat from underwater. But then you started to like talk yourself out of it, and you started to say maybe it's Ricky, maybe it's this
But
person.
then Ricky seemed too obvious because Mel thought it was Ricky.
Yeah.
And I knew Mel would be wrong.
So, also a lot of the victims in the movie are the people that bullied Angela. So,
Yeah. Or did her wrong.
Yes, Angela being the killer. Not exactly the twist. The twist
Is that it's not Angela. It's her brother.
It's that Angela is actually...
I should have noticed because Peter floating in the water had the short brown hair and not that longer black one. Fix the camera.
Oh, what'd I do? I kicked it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So the twist is Angela is actually a boy,
Peter.
and
it's the brother.
she's sitting there. Ronnie and another counselor are looking around for them. They find Angela. They find Angela on the beach, by the water, sitting there naked, holding Paul. And you think that they're in this like loving embrace. It turns out she's holding Paul's severed head, and she stands up, and you see she's not a girl. That it is actually, we start to flash back to the beginning, and it turns out that the dad and the two kids that fell into the water, when the boat hit them, the dad died, and it turned out that the girl died, and that the survivor was Peter, the son.
And did Ricky know that?
I don't think so, because Ricky was only a little boy at this time.
And his aunt was like, he always loved to be.
So the crazy
boy.
aunt basically says, I already have a son, so you're going to be
Oh God.
my daughter. And she just decides
Was it a wig or did he actually grow his hair?
I think
out
they
to be
actually
beautiful?
grew, yeah.
Mwah.
So yes, it turns out that Angela is a boy, And the final shot of the movie is the infamous scene of Felissa Rose giving that look, and the movie just kind of fades out, and we go into the credits, and it's this like, holy crap, I can't believe that just happened, and you see it, and yeah. So nothing like that happened at Sleepaway Camp, right, for you? There were no. So, Mommy didn't want me to show you Sleepaway Camp before you went to Sleepaway Camp, because she was like, oh no, Charlotte will get scared and everything. Do you think if you would have seen this before we drove you up there, you would have thought about this movie and freaked out a little bit?
Maybe. But then again, I watched all 11 Friday the 13th movies.
Yes.
Before I went to Sleepaway Camp.
That's true. Well, did you see any people with masks and machetes up there?
No.
All right. So Sleepaway Camp wasn't that bad. I mean, you survived. And that's really, at the end of the day, as a horror movie fan, all you could do is survive Sleepaway Camp. If you're lucky. So...
My counselors literally said at the end, they looked at me and they went, you survived Sleepaway Camp. And I was like, yeah. Or did I?
Yeah, that's a good place to end off. Charlotte survived Sleepaway Camp, and we survived watching Sleepaway Camp. Like I said, you could watch the movie for free on a variety of streaming platforms. It is a super fun horror movie, 80s camp slasher in the vein of The Burning and the Friday the 13th movies. If you've never seen it, give it a watch. Even if you know the ending, it's still a super fun movie with some real quotable dialogue. And like I said, subscribe to the Lassercast. We have a ton of cool stuff coming out. The mid-year review, Pete and I are really happy with the way that came out. We had a really cool conversation. We talk about a whole bunch of horror movies that came out already in 2022. So if you're looking for something to watch, if you're looking for something to stream, check out our mid-year review. Maybe you'll get some ideas. And we also have a great interview coming up with Michael Moresi, the author of Roche Limit Barbaric, Black Star Renegade, and the co-writer of Revealer, which is streaming now on Shudder. So this has been...
Charlotte, but I survived Sleepaway Camp. But did you?